Hello and welcome. If you are feeling burnt out, here are 5 things you can do now that will help. The first thing is to stop and to breathe. Take a few nice deep breaths. I know that it can feel overwhelming when you are trapped in lots of things, and breath is really important. Sometimes we forget to do it. So a few nice deep breaths. Then make a list of activities that you find calming. And list as many as you can. It might be going for a stroll, doing some yoga, some meditation, reading a book, making something, colouring in. The list is endless. Making a healthy meal for yourself. And again, you don't need to be excited by these activities. They don't need to be things that you really want to do. Often when we're feeling burnt out, we don't want to do anything, or we switch between not wanting to do anything and wanting to do everything. So we're trying to calm the mind and relax ourselves. So start with that list of activities and then go through and commit for the next 10 days to doing one of those each day and to really prioritizing it and making time for it. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to stop everything. Often with our busy lives, we can't. We have commitments and things that are there that are not going anywhere. But if we're really honest with ourselves, we can normally find somewhere between 10 minutes and half an hour or an hour a day to just have a mindful moment and to be able to take some time out and to readjust. So that is the first thing that I would suggest. The next thing that can be helpful when you're feeling burnt out is to take some inventory of your life and to see where you're taking on too much. Often when we're feeling burnt out, we've taken on too much without even realizing it, and gradually it all builds up and we actually need a little bit more time to look after ourselves and to have some space. So it can be good to look back at your diary or look forward at your future diary. Be really honest with yourself about things that you can let go. There's a lot of things that I know in my experience of having burnout, I felt that I couldn't let go, but when I really looked at it, I thought actually the world is not going to stop if I don't do that, or if I do it a little bit later, or if I take a break from it. So just give yourself permission to go through and let go of a few things. It can sometimes be disappointing to let go of commitments. Sometimes it involves, what we feel like is letting other people down, but this can be a really important step to looking after yourself. So we do our best and we let go of the things where we're taking on too much. The other thing that can lead to burnout is taking on too much responsibility. So this isn't necessarily taking on activities, but if you feel overly responsible for others in a way that's not appropriate, that can lead to those kind of heavy shoulders and feeling like there is just too much on your plate. So again, it's about getting really honest with ourselves and saying, actually, is this my responsibility, or can I let this go, at least for some time being? The third thing that's really important if you're feeling burnt out is to set some boundaries around your working hours. So if you are working all the hours that you have and there's no gap, and for those of you that are parents, if you're doing childcare and work and that is all, then it's important to carve out some time for yourself. So setting some boundaries, it may mean doing less, but to be more productive in the long term, that is often the best way forward. So set those boundaries around your work hours, put them into your diary, commit to them, and you will see the benefits in the long run. The fourth thing to do if you're feeling burnt out is to ask yourself what has been going on for you recently. What has been coming up in your life? Often we overwork or become really busy to avoid processing negative feelings around something completely different that is coming up. And I know this from personal experience that you can't run away from those things. And in fact, it's not healthy to. So give yourself some compassion, acknowledge the difficulties that have been coming up for you, and if you need to, or if you think it could be helpful, then seek the advice of a therapist or a therapeutic group to be able to help you to process those difficult and challenging emotions so that work becomes a healthy and a happy and a productive place for you, and not a place for you to escape things that are challenging in your life. The fifth thing, which I know I really needed to hear when I was experiencing burnout, is a little bit of tough love and actually realizing that I am not a victim and I am making choices about the amount of work I'm taking on, about the things I'm saying yes to, and actually I do have the power and control to some extent to choose what I'm doing and to say, I'm going to say no to these things. I'm going to prioritize myself and my long-term health and my family, or whatever it is that I need to prioritize. So I know it can be tricky, especially, as I said, if you get excited about things like I do and you want to move forward and you want to say yes to everything and everyone. But having those boundaries again around saying I'm not a victim, I get to choose certain things that I'm doing in my life and my business, and I'm going to make the wisest decisions I can to make sure that I am healthy and happy and productive so that I can keep doing this for a really long time, because I love doing it and I want to keep going and helping others in the process. So those are the 5 things that I would suggest if you're feeling burnt out at the moment. You may also need to take some time to rest if you're feeling really burnt out. And like I said, don't be afraid to reach out and contact a therapist or a medical professional if you're really suffering and struggling. Feel free to come and share your tips for avoiding and managing burnout below. I would love to hear them. And do connect with us and the whole community at Jewellers Academy for a wonderful community of jewellers that want to support you and encourage you to keep growing in a healthy and productive way. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you would like to find out more about our free online courses and join our community, visit us at jewellersacademy.com.